Can you hear me? It's August 31st, 2020. It's 8:47 a.m. We're approaching Grenfell. Grenfell, Saskatchewan. I stayed at that BVD travel center. It's a pretty big travel center. It can probably hold about, say about 40 semis. This is an experiment. I don't even know if I'm recording. I'm hoping that I pressed the record button correctly, or the start recording, or whatever it is, on my phone. I'm using the front camera. I found that the front camera doesn't shake as much as the camera on the back of my phone. So this is for your viewing pleasure. There it is, BVD Petro Pass off to the right. It's so big that some rigs can park backwards in there because they know they're going to have room to get out. They can back out. I wouldn't recommend it, but I guess if you're too tired to back in, well, then it's easier when you're rested to back out, I guess. I wouldn't do it. I would just stop before I'm too tired to back, if I could. I'm still learning how to truck, by the way. I've been at it for over 3 years. Some truckers, they tell me, they got all these wise folksy sayings that they like to share, but they tell me that the day I stop learning how to truck is the day I better retire. Something like that. It's so funny. But I guess if you really put some thought into it and you take some time to think about it, you know, once you know everything about trucking and you can't learn anymore, you've pretty much learned everything. Well, maybe you're just going to be a good trucker. Or you're just going to become complacent with your all-knowing, omniscient, omnipresent being in trucking. You might just become complacent and end up killing yourself or somebody else, I guess. I guess that's what they mean. I don't know. I guess the farmers here, they were making bales of hay. I don't know why. Who needs hay? Let me turn the camera just a bit for you. Can you see that? Is that is the stand in the way? I don't even know. Neudorf is 36 kilometers to the right. If you want to go down that gravel road, Neudorf. Neudorf. What language is that? What manner of language is that? Neudorf. It's early in the morning, so at 8:51 in the morning, August 31, this is what it looks like. Looks like there's some clouds gathering in the west, because we are westbound. The sun rises behind us in the east, and off to my left, you might not be able to see them, but there's wind turbines. They're generating electricity for the surrounding area. I don't know how well those things work, but I'm thinking they need more of them around here. If the farmers would allow it. This is our Canada. In Saskatchewan. We're divided provincially in Canada. The provinces have a right to be a part of Canada if they want. Saskatchewan and Alberta right now are talking about exiting Canada. They want to try and be their own country and manage their own affairs. I don't know how they're planning to do that, but that's what they want. Meanwhile, in Quebec, they want to have themselves declared their own sovereign nation. I think that they're only referring to the French, though. See, in Canada, we think that, we're taught that there's two founding nations for Canada, and one is the French and one is the English. Nobody ever thinks about the First Nations people, and later the Métis. Well, it's all identity issues. You have to study identity in order to be able to make sense of identity. But I don't think Alberta ever really wanted to be a part of Canada anyways. But if they were, they wanted to do something different. And they wanted to make Canada British. I don't know if Saskatchewan was really interested in that, but they sure are now that they've found some oil in their fields here. Off to the left is a lonely farmhouse, probably long abandoned. It looks older by about maybe 150 years. They probably built a new house somewhere else. Yeah, I had 10 hours of sleep, I'm pretty sure. And when I woke up, when my alarm woke me up this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, I felt like I could have had 2 more hours of sleep. Like I wanted to sleep in. But I didn't. I immediately did my, what's called, dying bug exercises. It's abdominal exercises. You lift your legs up while lying on your back, and your arms and your shoulders are lifted off the ground, and I do that about 12 times. I do 3 sets of 12. I started off with 3 sets of 10 about 3 weeks ago, so I'm increasing it now, and I'll get up to about 15, and then I'll start adding more stuff. When you get to be my age, you have to exercise if you want to live. If you really want to live, you have to exercise. I've seen truckers that are very, very big. And I feel sorry for them because it's hard to move around when you're that big. There's things you can do in the truck while driving too if you want to get some exercise. You have to pay attention to your driving, though. That's the number one thing. I mean, sometimes my arms, they start to feel like they're pretty flabby, and I when you want to, instead of getting out of the truck and giving yourself a stretch, I push on the steering wheel, and that gets my triceps, shoulders, and abdomen pectoralis majora and minora muscles moving, and it gets the blood flowing through them. I pull on the steering wheel too. I use my legs to stabilize. But I never do that when there's vehicles passing or I'm approaching vehicles. I pay attention to what I'm doing and how I'm driving. Try to stay safe. It's more dangerous reaching for your water, to be honest, but you still got to pay attention to what you're doing. But you can exercise. You can do things. Well, safety would tell you to get out of your truck and do some squats. But it's not always practical. Like, if you look at that side of the road there, you don't want to stop there because it's dangerous. Trucker comes along, reaches for his water, doesn't see you. His or her water, leaning over, shifting through stuff to get at their gum so they can chew gum. And they could run right into you, kill you, kill themselves. Small cars do that. They'll be texting, hitting like, and scrolling. They'll just run right into you. They'll kill themselves, but you probably won't die. Might get diesel spilled all over you. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm recording. I could be talking to myself here. Look at that farmer. What's he got there? A thresher? Some kind of a thresher? I don't know. I think it's a thresher off to the right. What is that thing? The farmer. He farms. So we've had rain out here in the west for almost 2 weeks straight, which ended a drought that lasted 2 months. And that looks like rain, more rain coming. We're almost into September, so that means we're entering into autumn. And for me, what day is it for driving? I think it's day 9. Day 9. I'm on recap hours. Day 9. I'm not ready to go home yet, but I'm ready to go home, if you know what I mean. Probably on day 12, which is the day I go home. That's when I'll be hankering to get home, if you know what I mean. So that'll be Thursday. And in Winnipeg, we got that Red River X. It's opening up. So I think I'll be taking the family out there for the day to have a good time. We'll wear our masks. We'll put our glasses on. We'll wear our hats. That way, if we're on the rides and the kids in front of us are coughing and hacking from the COVID-19 and we're flying right into their viral miasma, will be somewhat protected. Apparently, when you wear your glasses, the viral miasma hits your glasses and doesn't go in your eyes. Incidentally, if you want to protect yourself from a fight, always have a little bit of sand or salt in your pockets so you can throw it at them in their eyes. But don't do that if they're wearing glasses, because it won't work. That's dirty fighting, but if you want to win, you don't follow rules. You don't follow the rules of engagement to win. You just throw sand in their eyes and you start kicking their ass while they're screaming, "My eye! I'm fucking blind! I'm blind!" You just kick their ass. Don't do it to cops, though. They don't like that. They can pepper spray you, and you have to let them. But you can't throw salt in their eyes. Here's Wolseley. Did you see it? Sorry, I was too late. I was too late. I was a little sad this morning because CBC did a documentary on this place called Old Sun, and I made a video of it when we went through Siksika First Nation. And I showed you the difference between farm wealth and First Nation wealth. And I tried to explain to you that economically the federal government manages First Nations money, so even though the oil money comes into First Nations, they don't get that money. It's all managed by the government, and they invest it for them, but they don't ever give it to the First Nations people. They keep investing it for them. It's called paternalistic tutelage, paternalism, and that's why First Nations people can never get out of poverty, because the government manages their affairs for them, like as if they're little children. Remember the story I told you about the Indian agent who, if you wanted to leave a reserve, you'd have to go and fill out a form and file an application paper for to leave the Indian reservation back in the old days. You'd have to ask permission from the Indian agent. If you wanted to sell your cow, you had to ask for permission from the Indian agent. Well, they got rid of Indian agents, but now, they didn't really get rid of Indian agents. They just devolved it into a bureaucracy called the Department of Indian Affairs, who still manages everything, and you still have to ask for permission to do anything. And that's all run through the Indian Act. It's Canada's most racist and apartheid legislation, because it doesn't recognize First Nations people as people of their own affairs. Well, anyways, that's the video I made. I made it available. If not, I'll do it again. Why not? And they were talking about a building that's there, and in my video I even said it looks like an old Indian residential school, and in fact it is. I just found out from a CBC documentary that it was opened in 1929 and its doors closed in 1969, and that the Siksika First Nation, they've taken it over and have been using it as an adult learning center and community college, where they now teach their own culture, language and traditions and value systems and belief systems. And they've been doing it longer than it's been an Indian residential school, so they're starting to undo what's being done. Although it's pretty hard to undo what's been done. It's very hard. even with all of the resources that they're putting into it. I'm not convinced that you could undo it, but they are doing what they can, so at least there's that. So that made me pretty sad today. And in testing my camera, I didn't realize how sad I really was until I was looking at myself in the camera, and I thought to myself, holy shit, man, you look fucking miserable. You look sad. Oh, you poor, poor guy. Holy shit. Just sad faces, sad eyes, bloodshot, tear-eyed, sad. Even my eyebrows were kind of folded upwards towards the middle of my forehead. And I didn't even know it. I thought I was fine until I saw myself. If anybody would have seen me, they would have said, oh man, that guy looks like he's having a rough day. So I thought I'd make a video. Maybe it'll help me. Yeah, it looks like rain off to the left. So I'm pretty sure the farmer's southwest of us. They're probably, is it westerly? More westerly than south. Left is south, southwest. Yeah, southwest. Not a bad day, though. Not a bad day. I'm going to take a break in Balgonie, Saskatchewan. They got a Flying J there. They got about 5 or 6 showers. They got breakfast. They don't have a restaurant there, though. Not that I really like restaurant food anyways. My cooler's all out of food on day 9. Well, it was all out of food yesterday. So for the next 3 days I'm eating the road food, roadside food. It's not very good. But that's the life of a trucker. You do what you can, you gotta be resourceful. You gotta use your head. You gotta protect your mental health. Keeping your truck clean. Keeping yourself clean. You gotta do things to entertain yourself. So I got the Sirius XM here. I got my GPS to help me navigate. And I'm still learning how to truck. Last story, just to shut her down. I'm starting to learn that these recap hours, it's an incentive for you to not drive too much. You know, to the point where you're fatigued. When I first started driving truck, you know, these dispatchers, they were pushing you. They give you an appointment time that you had to make, and if you didn't make it, then it's a poor reflection on you. So you're driving and driving, and you're using up all the hours of the day. You're not stopping to go to the bathroom. You're not doing this. You're not taking a shower. You're neglecting yourself. You're just going hard. But those recap hours are there to give you an incentive, because once you complete your 70 hours, you start to recap those hours back. So the hours that you drove on your first day, say it was 10 hours, you get those 10 hours back after the end of your 70 hours. And whatever hours you didn't use at the end of the 70 and I think it's 70 and 7 in Canada. In the US, I think it's 70 and 8. But you get those hours back the following week. And the neat thing about that is you've got plenty of hours to get you back home. And that's why I drive 12 days out. Because I know that I'm getting those hours back. So on my first few days out, I don't have to push it so hard. The offside is dispatch thinks that I will. They think that just because I get my hours back at 4 in the morning, they think I'm going to wake up at 3 in the morning and leave at 4 in the morning. I'm not going to do that. I'll leave at 7 in the morning. I'll wake up at 6. I'll leave at 7, 7:30. When I wake up, I do a full pre-trip. I open up the hood, I look at the engine, I look at everything in there. I look at belt tension, I look at oil, I look at all the levels in everything. I look for I let if the truck's been running all night because it's been hot all night and I got the air conditioner going, I'll let the air out. Turn the truck off, let the air out of the air tanks. So I'll do it all. So that takes about a good 20 minutes. So I'll wake up early, I'll get that all done, and then I'm driving comfortably knowing I'll every day what do I do? What am I talking about here? I'm talking about the brakes. I adjust the brakes every day by doing the 6-pack. And then I know I'm good. I'm good to go the whole day. My truck's ready. I don't have to worry about a damn thing. I look at the lights so that when I go through the inspection, the weigh station, they know my lights work. And I know my lights work. So everyone's happy. I pay very close attention to my tires because even though it looks like they're on and it looks like they're not, like the lug nuts are tight, if you don't touch them and try to turn them, you don't really know. So now I make it a habit. My tires came off one time. They blamed me for it, but I think they did it. But anyways, ever since then, I pull on the lug nuts. But getting back to that hours of service, if they would have taught me in school, and if the companies would have taught me that you don't have to run so hard, you get those hours in recap the following week to get you home. You don't have to reset after 70. You don't have to run hard for 70 hours. If they would have told me that, if they would have taught me that it was an incentive to take it easy, to do things correctly and to be safe, my first 3 years would have been vastly different. Vastly different. My tire would have never come off. I would have never scraped the side of my trailer. I would have never backed into a little bit of I don't know, with a bumper stopper, I guess it was called, and I wouldn't have bent my my mud flap. They didn't teach it to me like that. They told me it's got to go hard. It's got to go. We only got 7 days. And then he would reset me for 24 hours and I'd be back up. Well, 24 hours isn't a good reset. So, anyways, that's my stories for today on recapping hours and the incentive to stay safe. I strongly encourage everyone to consider it. It helps with your mental health so that when people cut you off, you're not cussing. When you're stuck in traffic, you're not cussing. And you're not hankering to get home. Could change your life. You could have a pretty good, enjoyable life as a trucker. Anyways, I'm gonna wait for this truck to pass. That's another thing. That truck didn't waste no time passing me, and I like that. If you're a four-wheel car, see, I'm driving 104 kilometers right now, and you want to pass, don't pass me at 104.5, because that's going to mean you're in my slipstream. You're in my slipstream for about 1 full minute. You don't want to be in that slipstream, okay? If you're a small car, but stupidly, small cars do it, and they think, well, I'll just pass at 104.5 kilometers. I'll eventually get past them, and they're so terrified of the slipstream that they're driving with their driver's side wheels almost in the ditch because they're trying to avoid my slipstream. But they're passing at 0.5 kilometers faster. It's ridiculous. Like, where is your thinking? Well, your thinking is out the fucking window because you're in a trance. Get out of your trance and pass like that pickup truck. Don't waste your time and put yourself in danger by being in my slipstream. Don't put me in danger. I have a family too. I have children. I have grandchildren. We should all be considering that out here on the highway, but believe me, nobody does. A lot of people don't. War Chief out.